Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is February 24th, and today's episode is going to cover news of a different GMC. We're also going to be talking about rETH and DeFi, our GMC's round 21 results, and the Pectra update on Holesky, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start today's episode here with a little bit of disappointing news actually, and this is news from Arbitrum's GMC, which is their growth management committee, not grants management committee, and they recently put out a call for applications saying that they wanted to invest 7,500 ETH from their treasury into Arbitrum projects, and basically for projects to come together and make proposals and submit those proposals to Arbitrum so they could do that. I know that people from the Rocket Pool community were involved with this, with Grant and others as well taking part. I think the Alpha Growth guys were involved in it a little bit too, and it turns out that Arbitrum did not choose rETH. What they ended up doing as their strategy is here putting 5,000 ETH into Lido to get wrapped ST-ETH, and then they put that 5,000 wrapped ST-ETH into Aave on Arbitrum, and they were like crunching numbers of what kind of yield and returns that should get for them, and what kind of points they'll be getting along the way, and what kind of benefits their treasury will be getting. And then they put 2,500 ETH into a protocol called Fluid, which is a lending platform, and then they had a justification for why this was the way that they did things, and what the risk assessment of it is, and what the next steps of it are as well. So there's a full list of applications, and then they said that you can have a look at the applications and see how they were evaluated and what the recommendations were, and then over here you can actually read the full thing. And here there's one from Rocket Pool right here, and if you click on it, it says the Arbitrum Rocket Pool proposal, and you can see that this was submitted by a Spartan from Alpha Growth, and saying that basically use Balancer and Aave and Hop with rETH in order to do that. So then there's a breakdown of how much they would earn, like if you put a certain amount of money into rETH, and then the other amounts of money into other things, like what kind of APY you could be earning, and how that would look for you. And I guess they decided to go with the other option instead, of course. So not everyone was happy about this, of course. And here there's a person, Ultra, who's actually part of the Arbitrum community, and they said that they are, I guess they're one of the delegates in Arbitrum. They said that they're extremely disappointed in Arbitrum with the EF not having skin in the game debate. Arbitrum had a proposal to use up to 7,500 ETH from its treasury in this DeFi ecosystem. Results are out, and guess what? None of the projects are Arbitrum native. So there are other projects that are Arbitrum native. They launched on Arbitrum first, and maybe only Arbitrum, and those were not picked. And here you had juggernauts of Ether DeFi like Lido and Aave picked instead. And Ultra here says do better, and then they've got the full results. And this was a choice made by not a choice made by Arbitrum Foundation, but by the Treasury Management Committee and Growth Management Committee, which clearly did a shit job. So I'm not going to say that that's what happened. I didn't follow the process closely enough, but it's a real shame that they didn't choose Rocket Pool for this. Okay, so ETH Denver has started this week, and there's stuff happening this week and into, I think, over the weekend and early next week as well, I think. But I'm not there, as you can tell. I'm still at home. Sadly, it's I went to the last two ETH Denvers, and of course I'm not going this year. There is, however, talk of a Rocket Pool event. So there has been an event that's been scheduled, so this will be taking place on Friday the 28th, so the end of this week, and that will be at 4 p.m. local time in Denver. And this is the Wine Coop Brewing Company, and it looks like they'll have food and alcoholic beverages for people. So yeah, if you are in Denver, if you want to turn up, I don't know if there'll be tickets or anything like that. I guess there's a link here that you can select. It looks like it's a Google form. Let me see what happens when I press it. Oh, it was just a link to the restaurant slash bar place. So sorry about that. But yeah, so if you want to go and if you want to see rocket poolers there, that'll be your main opportunity to see them during ETH Denver, because there won't be a rocket pool booth like there has been in previous years. So keep that in mind. Okay, we've got a DeFi update from stakerocketpool.eth, and this, of course, comes from Regex Buster, who does this every couple of weeks. And this is, information on where to use your rETH in DeFi and what kind of rewards you can get. Well, PancakeSwap is back on top with a 28.27% APR, which is very nice to see. It says continue to check out the LPs on Uniswap via OKX, and those boosted with LPs have up to 119.75% APR, which is huge. And then let's have a look. So this is tracking multiple L2s, a variety of chains, so you can get around up to 11% plus on Balancer, ETH wrapped ETH pool, rETH wrapped ETH pool, and then on mainnet as well, you get, like I said, with PancakeSwap up to 28.27%. On balance, you can get around 5%. Also, with some higher risk strategies, you can get up to 8% as well. So those are available. And then the plain vanilla holding is around 2.68% APR. So yeah, have a look at the sheet. It's rpldefi.com. If you want to play around with those numbers, play around with that information and see what comes out of that. Okay, next we have an update from the GMC, and this is the results of round 21 of the grants, bounties, and retrospective rewards. And the GMC has concluded its discussions. So this is a 14-day clock now, where anyone can challenge these awards if they want. So a couple of general updates from the GMC is that the Cifrin DeFi course has been updated, and this will be published in the second week of March. The GMC is planning to incentivize activity with Solidity exam vouchers for newcomers and current community members. So if you are a community member and if you would like to take part if you would like to undertake the Cifrin DeFi course, then you'll be getting some vouchers soon. And the course itself is free, but if you want to get the certificate at the end, you pass an exam and get the certificate, then you have to pay for that, and that will have some discount codes available for you all. Then Primev, which is said the GMC recently met with Primev and discussing options for adding a module to Rocket Pool to increase node operator yield through an opt-in solution. With Token Motion subscription, there's Sleety started working on that, so there's a thread for submitting ideas, there's a document for monitoring current ideas, and there's a Discord thread. Actually, let's click on that and see what comes up. Yeah, so here we have things like pitch decks for Star, we have rETH success story, and those are from SignalXU. Dr. Doofus has some ideas about graphics being updated, and then there's branding page, packaging, and some other infographics, etc., images, and other things as well. So that is really, really cool to see, and hopefully Sleety will start making progress on that soon, and I can start sharing those images with you. Okay, so that was Sleety working on that, and then we had the member compensation system now. So members will get a weighted compensation system. So starting in March, GMC members will be compensated based on the following metrics, such as message count, decisions submitted, meeting attendance, and signed transactions. So those will be the criteria that they'll be used against. And then there's the rETH incubator. So Grant has started reaching out to some of the relevant parties that came out of the rETH incubator. We still require more help from the community for the other ideas as well. And then annual report. So annual report for 2024 for the GMC is under development and should be published on Rocket Pool community in the coming weeks. And then you can view 2023 report as well. That was a really, really cool report that Shifrin put together. There's application breakdown. There was 6 grant applications, 2 retroactive applications. Total amount requested was $6,034,000, and Retro's total amount was 2,261, and then total funds incoming with $30,000. So there's a big jump there. Anyway, here are the people who got rewarded: Dr. Doofus, Hululo, a FOMO Factor, and Cifrin. They all got approved. A Trooper was deferred with future consideration, and then there was a 3 that were declined, and that was validator integration from ETH Prime V, which is the rETH support for MEVCommit. That was declined at $3 million, and Victus Capital was declined at $3 million as well. And then here there's a breakdown of what, why each one was chosen and why they were approved or denied. And then all members participated and there were no amendments. So it's quite a straightforward round this time. There weren't too many applications, so people were working on that quite well, and it all went smoothly. Okay, there's been some interesting discussions going on crypto Twitter recently, and there's this one tweet that I just kind of want to bring to your attention, and this is about Rocket Pool's role in the wider Ethereum ecosystem and like how strong Ethereum can be. And POTUS here, who I think is a core developer, but I forgot which team he's with, says that is quoting their own tweet that they had in the discussion with Nixo. This original tweet said, and this brings me back to your post on profitability. Many home stakers find it profitable to run nodes for Lido or Rocket Pool along with their own nodes, helping on censorship resistance at the same time. The theoretical 1/8 goes to trash to this category, so I suspect that many. And then that was just a point. So then he brings up this point again, saying repeating, but I think it's unreal to think our censorship resistance layer is single validator home stakers. The real decentralization, ignoring of course the LST risk, is on the CSM, which is from Lido, the community staking module, and the Rocket Pool home operators. We should not drop them from areas where bandwidth is not available. So this is actually a really interesting discussion about, bandwidth requirements and hardware requirements for node operators and what they will actually be giving to Ethereum. And Ethereum censorship resistance will happen later with, forced inclusion lists like Fossil and others. And those will be most and best maintained by home stakers, like they're the ones who will be using those, and that will be, whether they're home stakers with their own solo nodes, whether they're home stakers with Rocket Pool or with Lido. These are the people who are much more likely to run all that software compared to those who aren't. So that's really interesting that people are kind of noticing that and paying attention to it in the wider ecosystem. Okay, we've got some staking news here, and this is from Joe, who is working with NodeSet, and this is about Hyperdrive, which is the system the Constellation node operators use to run their nodes. And Joe says, hey, node operators, today we have released Hyperdrive 1.1.13. This updates the Ethereum clients to add support for the upcoming Pectra network hard fork on Holesky. Pectra will be applied to the Holesky testnet on February 24th, and we're going to be talking about that next. It says this is a required update for Holesky node operators before that time, or you must manually update your clients to the versions listed in the full GitHub patch notes. This is a low priority update for mainnet users, as many of their clients have gone large revisions to support Pectra. This is you're welcome to wait before upgrading if you'd like them to. And it's time to ensure stability, and then there's some known issues and there's some changes as well. So if you are running Hyperdrive on testnet, then get this update soon. Okay, here we have an update from Beacon Chain, and the Beacon Chain announcement saying that Holesky will be hard forked on Monday at, what was the time that Joe said? 9:15 p.m. 9:55 p.m. UTC, so that is at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time US. So it should be happening, or should have happened basically by the time you're watching this episode. So very soon after that. Beacon Chain are sharing the ETH Staker live stream, so you can actually check in on that and watch it. It's going to be live in 74 minutes at 4:30. I'm sorry, it's going to be at 4:55 Eastern Time. But yeah, you can watch it. You can watch it right here. So that's really, really cool to see. That will be available soon. So good stuff. ETH Staker and Beacon Chain. Okay, after the Bybit drama last week, there was some troll slash concern trolling comments about how Ethereum should roll back the chain and give Bybit back their $1.5 billion worth of ETH, and like it was just like mostly coming from Bitcoin maximalists or Solana people. And it actually prompted just Tim Biko here to put out a tweet about explaining why you can't roll back Ethereum. It's actually a really interesting read, and it's in context of the Bybit hack, but there's some information about rollbacks going all the way back to the Bitcoin bug that caused 184 billion Bitcoin to be mined in block 74,638, and that then there was Bitcoin was rolled back based on that, and that was with Satoshi saying that should happen. Then the Ethereum and the DAO. So this was the DAO hack was that the ETH was taken from the DAO wallet, and it was actually put in a time lock release. So it wasn't that ETH wasn't interacting with anything else. So what happened is something called an irregular state change. So it was a very surgical implementation of changing the Ethereum state. And we had some time because the ETH was locked, I think, for 30 days at the time. So that was the time limit basically that you had to change things. And that's how that would have worked. And then that's why it was able to happen in such a surgical way, in that nothing else was impacted. However, with this Bybit incident, like you can't roll back Ethereum because that ETH that the Bybit hackers, the Lazarus group from North Korea, actually took is a tremendous amount of ETH, and they already started moving that around within the ETH ecosystem. So it's not surgical anymore. It would need a rollback, and a rollback would mean that every single transaction that happened on Ethereum, you go back to the block before the hack happened, and you adopt that as the state, and that's just not feasible with the with the amount of changes that have happened in like the Ethereum state in that time. So this is actually a really nice little thread kind of explaining why it can and can't happen. So here Tim ends up by saying, technically irregular state changes are still possible in Ethereum in cases where funds are frozen and isolated. The last time such a change was proposed in 2018 to address the bug in the parity multisig where 500,000 ETH were frozen, and was strongly opposed by the community of the contention resulting from the DAO hack. So this was a really, really interesting point and thread, and I think you can all learn some interesting things from reading that. And finally, we're going to finish today's episode on a little bit of fun, and this is a thread under trading called Your Digital Twin, and Your Digital Twin is the name of the new Freysa game. This is Act 4. And what happened is a whole bunch of people in the Rocket Pool community are playing along with this. The entry ticket was 0.1 ETH, and the prize money stands at around $250,000. There are over 1,000 people taking part in the game. So, that's over 100 ETH right there, which is really, really awesome. And the way that it works is that you make a twin version or whatever kind of avatar you want. You answer all these questionnaires, you give them like a look, a name, personality, all that kind of stuff, and then you unleash them into a private Mastodon server, which is like a social media like platform, kind of like Twitter, but in a private server. And all these twins kind of like communicate with each other and talk with each other, kind of make a world for themselves. And the one at the end of that month that has the most points, and points can be accrued for lots of different reasons, the one that has the most points by the end of the month will win, and they'll take the whole prize pot. So there are a bunch of people from the Rocket Pool community here taking part, and it's actually really, really cool to see that this is happening. And Schifrin is actually making a po-app as well for the people who are taking part in this. But yeah, the game started a couple of days ago, so you are a little bit behind if you join now, but I don't think it's an unassailable lead, and it goes for 18 days in total, so I think it's got another 2 weeks to go. And yeah, it's a really, really fun game, and a whole bunch of people are playing it in the Rocket Pool community. So it looks like everyone's having fun with it. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. Thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Pool community. I hope you all had a lovely weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.